Before I turn to Mike, I want to emphasize something I spoke with our seniors about on Friday evening related to two of Suffield's most essential values, which are fundamental respect for all people and intolerance of discrimination. The United States has had a challenging summer, from Charlottesville to Harvey to yesterday's crushing Irma, and there's been some lack of clarity about some fundamental values that we must be crystal clear about at Suffield. Simply put, there's no place for discrimination of others. I want to specifically note that our values set any type of religious or racial intolerance are totally unacceptable, as they should be anywhere in this country or world. Fundamental respect for others is a requirement at Suffield. Last, before we begin the year, I ask that on today, September 11th, we reflect on the 16th anniversary of one of the saddest days in American history. As you know, on September 11th, 2001, terrorists attacked the United States, hijacking 4 airplanes in mid-flight. 2 flew into skyscrapers at the World Trade Center in New York, causing the buildings to catch fire and collapse. Another destroyed part of the Pentagon in Virginia, and the 4th plane crashed in Pennsylvania. Officials believe terrorists on a plane intended to destroy either the White House or the U.S. Capitol, but passengers on that plane fought terrorists and prevented them from reaching their goal. In all, nearly 3,000 people were killed in the 9/11 attacks. The day changed the course of history, and the reverberations are felt powerfully in all aspects of our lives today. We lost Suffield alumni in the 9/11 attacks. I mention these final 2 items to ground us that we are in a complicated world where we have the fortune of being here, a place that emphasizes respect, kindness, and integrity, a commitment to common goals. We get yet another great opportunity today as we embark on the new academic year. This is an exciting day for all of us and all of our families, especially for our new students and faculty members. Welcome, everyone, to the 185th academic year at Suffield, and let me now turn to Mike.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is so nice to see everyone back here at Suffield, and to all the new students, welcome. As I think most of you know, my name is Mike Rabu, and it is such an honor to be the school president. I am so excited for this year, and I am sure that all of you are as well. This past weekend has been so much fun, and I want to thank everyone for their hard work and everyone that made it all possible. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. It has been such a blast seeing so many old friends and meeting so many wonderful new people, and I cannot wait to meet and get to know everyone else. It feels so unbelievable that the beginning of the school year is finally here. Ever since being elected president, I have especially been looking forward to giving this convocation speech, and now it is finally here. Last year, I ran on the platform of spirit, service, and inclusion. I want the Suffield spirit and pride to be stronger and louder than ever this year. This great school spirit will lead us to having big crowds at sports games and enthusiastic school events. We are also a very giving and caring community here, and I personally have always been so proud of this. It has been a tradition that every year we choose a charity, and throughout the year, Student Council leads the school in fundraisers for this charity. We can and we will make such a big impact on whatever charity we choose, as well as through all the other incredible ways that Suffield gives back to the community. Our success lies in the hands of all of us, and if we all play a role, we will make such a big difference. We must all be included in whatever it is that we take on as a school. We all come from different backgrounds, and through all of our different lives, we have all been led here to Suffield Academy, and we're all here for a reason. We all belong here. Whether you are a 4-year senior or a student who just arrived 2 days ago, we all had something special, and we all make this place what it is. Our community is so strong because of all the different students, teachers, and faculty members that make up this wonderful place. We each bring something special to the school. We all have special talents and gifts, and the more we showcase these gifts and talents, the stronger we will be as a whole. The beautiful thing is that there are so many ways that you can give to the school by doing what you love. One of the events I'm looking forward to the most is the telethon. In this event, many people showcase their amazing talents on stage. This year will without a doubt be full of lots of work, and I'm sure it will get stressful at times. But through all the work, it is also so important to remember to have fun and to spend time with those around us. But we must always remember the big impact our work is making on the world. As president, it is really important to me that all of us take time throughout the year to have fun. And I promise to make sure that this happens by having fun events such as sports tournaments, and we're going to have a big water fight in the spring, which people asked. With all of our efforts and hard work combined this year, I am very optimistic about what we can and will achieve. What will make this year a success is so much more than just a 3-word platform. I want all of you to ask yourself, what are your goals for the year and how you plan to achieve them? Ask yourself, what will make this year a success to you? What lies ahead for us is such an exciting adventure. Now, those of you who know me well know how much I love to adventure. I love to be in the woods, mountains, cities. You see, to me, everything I do is an adventure. No matter what I do, I look at it as another opportunity, and each new opportunity is full of new and exciting things. So my advice to everyone is to make this year an adventure. Make Suffield one big, exciting journey. Try new things, meet new people, challenge yourself, and through it all, just think of it as an adventure. Don't get caught up in what can go wrong or how scary it might feel. Just focus on having fun and think about what can be gained by it. Some of the greatest experiences you will have here at Suffield are the ones when you are the most terrified and nervous. Because the more you challenge yourself, the more you will gain. You get out whatever it is that you put into something, no matter what it is. Aside from adventures, I also love music. And one of my favorite bands is Zac Brown Band. and one of their songs has a line that I like so much. And it goes like this: know you get what you give. I like this line so much, in fact, that I even put it in my Instagram bio. I like this quotation so much because it holds so much truth within it. Your letter grades and effort grades in class are reflective of the effort put into that class. The results you see on the sports field, the court, the pool, and the mat show the work put in at practice each day. And ultimately, what you give to Suffield is what you will get out of it. So give it your all. We're all so fortunate that there are countless ways to give to this school and to the community. And there is so much that we can take away from it as well. While on the topic of you get what you give, I also want to remind everyone the importance of kindness and respect. I cannot express enough the importance of being kind to everyone you meet and everyone you see. The way you treat those around you reflects so much on whom you are as a person, and it also reflects on this community. Whether you're at CVS, at a sports game, or here on campus, the way you treat those around you reflects on you and on the school as a whole. So always be kind. After this chapel, we will all be dismissed, and we will all go to our first classes. This is when the school year really starts. So with that said, let the adventure begin. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good morning. Is this working? Can you hear me? My name is Mr. Rockwell. I prefer to be called Rocky. So you knew that, okay? If you didn't, now you know. Good morning and welcome to Suffield, to the new students, and back to Suffield to the old students. I have one little housekeeping note before I give you this random talk. Ninth graders, next Sunday, whitewater rafting trip. Be ready. Okay? We're going to leave at 9 o'clock. I will give you some information over the course of the week, so get psyched and try not to hide in your dorm room on Sunday morning. If you have any questions, you can ask Ethan Ash, and he can clue you in on it. Anyway, when going to work through this. When Mr. Can asked me if I'd like to talk to you this morning, I was a little hesitant because I generally like to fly below the radar, but obviously I decided to go ahead, so here I am. 60 years ago today, I sat where you all sit right now. I was then, as I'm sure all of you are at this moment, filled with the same feelings of apprehension and excitement. Who knows what the year will bring? I didn't know then, and I don't know now. In 1957, I was beginning my PG year at Suffield Academy. Since then, Suffield has been a central part of my family's life. When I look back, 1957 seems so long ago, and much has happened in my life and in the life of the Rockwell family. Today, I'm here with you at Convocation to open yet another school year. Again, I am too filled with apprehension and excitement, but for different reasons. Where you see, this will be my final year of teaching at Suffield, if I can work through this. Though the decision to retire after 54 years has not been easy, I can look back over the time I have spent here with a tremendous sense of satisfaction. You may not know it now, but in time you will come to appreciate this wonderful school. As a student, I had a good time, made good friends, played football, tangled with the discipline system, and went on to the University of North Carolina. When I was your age, I had no idea how my life would unfold. As much as many of you or your parents will try to map out your future, life does not follow a smooth trajectory. Our life paths are never straight. I kind of went with the flow, taking life as it came to me, weathering the various curveballs life threw at me, trying not to sweat the little things. I'm sure that over time this has contributed to my somewhat laid-back, philosophic approach to life. Though I think Mrs. Rockwell wishes I paid closer attention to detail, I've always tended to live in the present. What this has allowed me to do over the past 50-plus years is to stay in touch with the world of my students. I always remember, even as a parent and a grandparent, that I was a teenager once. When we came to Suffield in 1964 to begin our life here, I had no idea how long it would last. I had worked at many different part-time jobs through high school and college. I bagged groceries, worked the night shift in a factory, drove an oil truck, worked in a cattle yard, and bartended. None of these were glamorous, but they taught me valuable life lessons. The point of this is that your education, as it has been with mine, goes far beyond the classroom. Coaching football, track and field, and alpine skiing, coupled with numerous cross-country driving trips, hiking most of the trails in New England, sea kayaking in Alaska, spending special time on an Indian reservation in New Mexico, exclusive travel with Suffield students all over the United States. The page is sticking here. I should have memorized this. It taught me that we live in a very special, marvelous place. Not just a school, but the whole country and the world. One that should be protected and preserved. I often look to writers for inspiration, guidance, or affirmation. I especially like Henry David Thoreau, Alan Watts, and Edward Abbey. Henry David Thoreau, author of Walden, encouraged everyone to bring adventure into their lives. To do so, he argued, allowed each of us to be active participants in this thing called life. Don't, he urged, when you are on your last legs, look back over your life and ask, is that all there is? Western Zen master Alan Watts talks about the invitation to the dance. Life is a dance. You make decisions to either join the dance or to sit on the sidelines. In any case, the dance or life goes on. Abbey adds, in the first place, you can't see anything, and I love this, you can't see anything from a car. You've got to get out of the goddamn contraption and walk. Better yet, crawl on hands and knees over the sandstone, through the thorn bush and cactus. When traces of blood mark your trail, you might begin to see something. Maybe, probably not. I don't mean to get too philosophic, but I guess with my age it comes with the territory. I do feel that the wisdom of Thoreau, Watts, and Abbey is worth a read. I will be forever grateful for the opportunities, both professional and personal, that Suffield has given the Rockwell family. All 4 of our children are Suffield alums, and our granddaughter Peyton is a member of the class of 2018. When deciding to retire, part of my motivation was to be able to graduate with Peyton. So we will do that together, each going off into different sunsets. I don't know what my legacy will be. I let others figure that out, and I'm really not into that too much anyway. I would, however, like to think that the various programs I've gotten off the ground, such as Solo and Leadership Program, among other things, have a bright future. In any case, I've been deeply involved in the life of the school. As you sit here today, whether you are new to Suffield or have been here for several years, you have no idea how the school has changed since I was a student here. The only buildings here in 1957 were Fuller Hall, memorial building, which is now being redone, 3 cottage dorms across the street here, a house dorm, and a gym that consisted of 1 basketball court, and that was it. I feel fortunate to have seen the school grow to its present stature and maybe to have contributed in some way to Suffield's success. Using rather loose calculations, I estimate that over the time I have taught 4,320 students and have known approximately 16,000 students. My hope is that I've made an impact, however small, in their lives. My driving motivation has always been you, the student. I would not have taught as long as I have if not for the genuine love of the process of education. Whether in the classroom or the outdoors, the opportunities to see individual growth has always been the best reward. When I began to gather my thoughts for today's convocation, we had not yet been confronted by the harsh realities of hate and prejudice seen recently in Charlottesville, Virginia. Watching the events unfold, not just here in the United States, but in Barcelona, Finland, Paris, London, and all too many other places, reflects a world that is both dangerous and scary. The challenge for you will be to avoid falling into the trap of polarization and apathy. The challenge will be to understand that we are all at the dance together. The future needs people who are compassionate, tolerant, and open-minded, and educated. In these times, what seems like common sense can be a burden. Work hard to develop your moral core. Seize the opportunities that Suffield offers you. Be a good friend. Comfort those in need. And fight for what is right. Thinking about the community text tribe and watching the devastation in Houston after Hurricane Harvey made me realize, as I often do, that the real power to do the best rests with all of us. When we work together for the common good, regardless of the situation, good things can happen. In a world that is becoming increasingly disconnected because of social media, we really need to step back and make that special effort to rekindle the spirit of community and to honestly care about each other. I'd like to leave you with a final note from Edward Abbey. May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing view. May your mountains rise into and above the clouds. And finally, remember, the door to my office is always open. Stop by to say hi or to have a talk, print an essay, or grab some candy if I have some in there. Have a great year, and don't leave the dance until the last song.
Good morning, and welcome to the new school year. Like many of you, I also have a connection to Florida, and my story today is going to have some ties to Florida, and so I ask that we all think about the folks down there and what they're going through between yesterday and today. In early summer, I decided to take a train trip, a long train trip, to Florida, and I wanted to do it alone. No family, no friends, and I'm not really sure how it all came to me. I'd never really been on a train. I lived in suburban Boston, and I took the T all the time. But the T isn't a real train. I love history, I like traveling, I like seeing things that I've never seen before. So I thought, cool, a long train trip. I do have a funny story about maybe why I'd never been on a train. I got left at a train station when I was 11. Now, I know it sounds funny, and it was kind of a funny event, except that it was before the days of cell phones and answering machines and instant communication. My older brother was going to visit some camp friends, and so my parents decided that they would take the big step and allow him to take the train by himself from Boston to Providence. So they purposely booked him on an express train that made no stops, so he couldn't get lost or anything like that. So on a Friday night, when my father was going to drop him at the train station, I decided to go along for the ride. What the heck? So we got to the 128 train station. We were waiting for the train to come in, and my dad said, I want to show you something really cool. And he reached into his pocket and he took out a whole bunch of coins, and he went down on the train tracks and he lined all the coins along the train track. And he said, Sarah, stand right here and do not move. Because oftentimes when the train comes, the coins will fall off the track and we'll lose them in the gravel bed. So stand right here so we'll know exactly where the coins are. I am a dutiful daughter. I stood right there. Train came into the station. Train pulled out of the station. I quickly ran down on the tracks. I picked up the coins. They were really cool. A penny becomes about maybe 2 inches. A quarter becomes like this. They're all like kind of molten, and the faces all become like kind of funhouse crazy. So I'm super happy. I pick up my coins and I start looking around the platform. Fewer and fewer people are on the platform. I don't see my dad. No problem. Keep standing there. All of a sudden, I'm standing on a deserted train platform. There are no people, no dad. So I went inside because I thought, well, maybe he forgot and he went inside. So I went inside. I started looking around. Again, fewer people. No dad. Stood there. I'm going to be brave. No problem. Eventually, nobody's inside the train station either. So I went up to the ticket counter and said, like, excuse me, I think I have a problem. I may have just gotten left here. About this same time, the train was radioing back to the station that they had a hysterical man on board the train who was screaming that the train had to be stopped. It had to go back because his daughter was still at the train station and he was not supposed to be on the train. And they basically said, buddy, it's the express to Providence. We are not stopping. So the poor people in the train station, they were kind of like, we got this little kid. The father's on the train. It's going to be 4 hours before he's back because it's an express. We got to call the police. They did try my mother a few times. Now, in theory, she's home, but her husband and 2 of her children have left. So I think she probably was having a Calgon take me away moment. She is not answering the phone. Again, no answering machines, no cell phones. So the police came. Police were great, super nice. They gave me soda. In my house, we weren't allowed to drink soda. The other thing they gave me, which I forever have a love for, I had never had it until that moment. You know those little orange crackers with the peanut butter? A color not found in nature, bright orange. I loved those. Now you can imagine if we weren't allowed to have soda in my house, we did not have a lot of fluorescent orange crackers around. In any case, it all ended up okay. Eventually my dad came back from Providence on the express. The police brought me back to the station. Everyone's reunited and happy. All ended well. So back to my summer train trip. I got up one morning at 4:15 in the morning. I hit the road about 4:30, and I got to the car train station just outside of Washington, D.C. in ample time. This is a special train. It's a train where you take your car, and it's also an express. It goes from Washington, D.C. to just outside of Orlando. And it's actually fascinating to watch. You pull in, they slap a magnet with a number on the side of your car. They immediately put plastic over your seats, paper on the floor, guy pulls on gloves, he gets in your car and he drives it up and into the train. It was fascinating to stand there and watch. You saw Chevrolets, old vans, tons of motorcycles, lots of minivans, seemingly brand new Maseratis, Teslas, Hummers. The cars really seemed to be a microcosm of people, and it was cool to try to guess who went with each car, because we are separated from the cars from the instant you get there. You could purchase a stateroom on this train with a living room, private shower, bedroom. There were first-class seats, business class seats. I'm very frugal. I purchased a coach seat, so I was going to now sit up for 32 hours on the train. If I'm finding America, I really want to find it among the people. But my trip was amazing, and it was amazing because what I found on the train was an entire community. And I'm sure you were starting to wonder, like, where could this story be going? The story is about community. Yes, our theme is community, and my train trip was about community. Community is a group of people living together in a common space. They have shared values, goals, and purposes. They're cohesive and empathetic towards each other. Well, this is what happened on the train. It was so unlike airline travel, where people push, They argue, they're rude. We've all seen it. Group 1, please board. 200 people rush to the little alley. They're not all in Group 1. Even if you're in Group 1, you can't get there because of the people. Well, on the train, the community took care of itself. Boarding was civilized and orderly. Little old ladies and men were helped by other passengers. It was thoughtlessly clean. There was lots of, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, can I help you?" We left just before 4 p.m. And guess what happened at 5 o'clock? Folks in my car started opening up these elaborate picnic baskets, taking out tablecloths, silver platters, cheese and crackers. They had thermoses of mixed drinks. They had bottles of wine, and they all shared. It was like a full-blown gourmet afternoon at Tanglewood. Me, I had a bottle of water and orange crackers. I still love that. But everybody shared. At dinner, it was like sit-down lunch. I had a card with my table number. I headed to the dining car. I was seated by a waiter, given my menu, and then I was seated with 3 people I'd never met. When we sat down, our table started chatting. We told each other about ourselves, and we found commonalities among our huge range of experiences, political views, backgrounds, and cars. Yes, there was a guy at my table transporting his new Maserati to Florida, and he didn't want to put the miles on his car. Another was in a contractor's van, another in an old Tercel. We all became part of something bigger than ourselves. There was no competition. We were all equal. We were sitting in the same seats, eating the same food, respecting each other's differences. We came together. When we share a bit of ourselves, when we're vulnerable and honest, we become closer. About 9 that night, the conductor announced that the lights were being turned down and it was time to be quiet and reduce movement. We were due into the train station about 10 the next morning. We all settled in and there wasn't a sound. I think I was the only one that was too excited to sleep, and so I stared out the window in the silence, looking at the swamps and the factories, the dirt roads, the trailers, the moon, and folks just sitting outside on a hot night. It made me also think about happiness, and what is happiness, and choosing to be happy, and what a strange and amazing journey I was on. I hope this year at Suffield will be for you like my train trip. I was a bit scared before I left. I don't even like to drive. And what the heck was I doing getting on a train by myself? Was I crazy? But I learned about myself and others, and I learned about community, and that community is a choice. Yes, it's a choice that you make. I could have boarded the train, put on noise-canceling headphones, and pretended to be asleep. But I didn't. I smiled, and I said hello, just like here. So this year, I hope you'll try something new. I hope you'll have a cool adventure and learn something about yourself. I hope you'll see and experience new things. I hope you'll do something for the common good, and I hope you'll feel connected. I hope you'll celebrate each other, and I hope you'll look inside yourself and choose happiness and to be kind to each other. Like on the train, I hope you'll find commonalities in each other's differences. You have a chance to be something bigger than yourself at Suffield, so help enhance our great community. Put others first, and take off your headphones, look around, smile, and say hello. Introduce yourself and welcome someone new. We're all very lucky and fortunate people, and we're part of a great community. So thank you, and welcome to the new school year.